Hello, scholars. Today's video, or today's read aloud, is brought to you by my little Mr. Penguin Man, and it's for all the other penguin lovers out there. It's a non-fiction text to teach us all about penguins, even though it does have illustrations to show us as text features as we read. All right, penguins. Here come the penguins, straight and tall. They walk with a waddle, yet look stately and dignified. Some kinds of penguins. There are 17 different kinds of penguins. The smallest is the little blue penguin. It is about 1 foot or 30 centimeters tall. The biggest of all penguins is the emperor penguin, standing almost 4 feet or 120 centimeters tall. All penguins have black or bluish-gray backs and white bellies. The patterns around their necks and heads are what make them look different. Some have colorful patches. Others show off brightly colored crests, but they all have the same basic body shape and characteristics. So on the top you can see just some examples. So we have an emperor penguin. The macaroni penguin's my personal favorite because he's got some cool crest, as they call it over here, with the red hopper penguin as well. All penguins are found in the southern hemisphere. So they put a globe here to show us that the southern hemisphere is the bottom part of the world, where the South Pole is, and Antarctica. The Adelie and emperor penguins never leave Antarctica. Others live in New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, South America, and the Galapagos, and many other islands. So on this text feature you can see all the names of the penguins have a different colored dot, and on the map it'll show us where they live. So for example, what do we want to see? The African penguin is over here. Penguins are birds, but they lost their ability to fly millions of years ago. Over time, they began to spend a lot of time hunting for food in frigid waters. Their wings changed into powerful, rigid flippers for swimming. Penguins have sleek, smooth bodies that glide easily through the water. They are excellent swimmers and divers. Larger ones can swim faster than 25 miles or 40 kilometers an hour. The emperor penguin can dive deeper than any other bird, about 1,500 feet or 450 meters. Groups of penguins may stay at sea for weeks at a time. They leap in graceful arcs through the water to grab breaths of air. Penguins feed underwater on krill, fish, and other sea creatures. Their natural enemies are fur and leopard seals, sea lions, sharks, and killer whales. And they give us an image up here to show us what a krill is. It's a small shrimp lake creature. When the penguins want to leave the water, they can leap up as much as 6 feet, or 1 8/10 meters, onto a rocky shore or iceberg. They climb rocks easily, hopping from one to the other. Sometimes penguins speed over snow and ice by dropping onto their bellies and sliding. A penguin's many feathers are small and stiff. They form a warm and waterproof covering. In really cold places, penguins have an extra layer of long, downy feathers underneath. They also have thick layers of fat to keep them warm. Once a year, many penguins come together to form colonies called rookeries. It is a time for the penguins to mate and raise their young. At this time, they make loud croaking and trumpeting sounds. Most of the time, penguins are quiet. What a noisy place a rookery is, with all the harsh penguin calls. There can be hundreds, sometimes thousands of penguins in a rookery. They have no trouble finding their mates. While courting, they chase each other. Sometimes they hold their wings away from their bodies and hold their beaks up high. Usually the same pair mates and raises its young together. It's time to build their nests. Some penguins make nests in burrows or rocky crevices. Others build nests in the open using sticks and grasses. Some arrange small stones in a circle. The two biggest penguins, the emperor penguin and king penguin, do not build nests. Soon after the nest is built, it is egg-laying time. Most penguins usually lay 2 eggs. While one parent keeps the eggs warm, incubating them, the other one searches for food. Incubation can last 30 to 60 days, depending on the kind of penguin. The penguins fiercely guard the eggs and their nesting territory. King penguins and emperor penguins lay only 1 egg. The female quickly passes her egg over to the male. He carries the egg on the top of his feet. The egg is kept warm by a flap on his belly called the broad pouch. He carefully waddles around short distances without dropping the egg. During incubation time, the female swims out to sea to feed. So you can see the broad pouch here. So underneath here is the egg. We also have another example over here. The male emperor penguins gather together in the cold, dark polar winter. The temperature can get as low as minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 51 degrees Celsius. They protect themselves by huddling close together, constantly moving from inside to the outside of the group and back to the inside to stay warm. During this time, they don't eat. They fast, living off stored body fat, and can lose up to 45% of their body weight. That's almost half of their body weight. After about 65 days, the egg hatches. The female returns around this time. It is her turn to take care for the chick. She tucks it under her broad pouch to keep it warm. Then the male emperor penguin is free to swim out to sea to feed. Look at the cute little chick. Looks similar to my little chick. A little furrier though. The chick weighs about 11 ounces or 308 grams and is covered in gray, soft down. The mother has food in her belly. When the chick is hungry, the mother throws up or regurgitates the meal for it. When the father returns, both parents take turns feeding and keeping the chick warm. The chick grows. When it's about 8 weeks old, it weighs around 4 pounds, or 1 8/10 kilograms. Now the chick is too big to stay under its parents' broad pouches. The chicks begin to gather into groups called crutches. They huddle together to stay warm. When the sun shines, they scurry around getting stronger and practicing their balance. When a parent calls, it calls with a cry only its chick knows. The chick rushes to its parent. Mealtime! The chick is fed one huge meal every few days. It takes time for the parents to take each trip out to sea for food. All penguins are raised in similar ways. When the chicks are 3 to 10 months old, they begin to lose their gray down and grow adult feathers. Now they're called fledglings. Off they go on their own. They learn to hunt and survive without the help of their parents. In about 4 years, they will return to raise their own young. At one time, the number of penguins was declining. Eggs were harvested and penguins were hunted for their skins. Their fat was boiled down to make oil. Today, penguins are in danger. Sometimes oil spills coats their feathers. Overfishing reduces their food supply. They get tangled in fishing nets. Tourists can do harm to colonies of penguins by disturbing them. So you can see some examples up here. Here's the oil spill. Here's the fishing, overfishing. These nets are taking all of their food. And here's some tourists disturbing their nests. There are laws to help protect them. People work together to help penguins survive in our modern world. Some areas have been named penguin sanctuaries. Sanctuaries means that it's protected and that nobody can harm the environment for them. Penguins can be found in zoos and aquariums. People working there care for the penguins in a clean, safe environment. It is fun to watch the penguins play. Penguins, penguins. The first penguins lived about 40 million years ago. Prehistoric penguins stood about 6 feet tall. That's taller than me. That's a very tall penguin. The largest penguin is an emperor penguin. It can weigh about 90 pounds. King penguins can live to be 20 years old. The smallest penguin is the little blue or fairy penguin. It weighs about 3 pounds. And I think we already learned this, that there are 17 kinds of penguins. The five not illustrated earlier in the book are the erect crest penguin, the royal penguin, the fjord land penguin, the Snar's crested penguin, and the Peruvian penguin. So here they are here. The end.